The Buddhist sermon for today is given by the Venerable Beragama Piyarathana Thera.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Ārāmaropa vanaropa ijana setukāraka papanca udapānañca idadanti upassayam tesang dhivāta rattoca sadā puññaṃ pavaddati dhammattā sīla sampannam te jana saggagāmino. Dear friends in Dhamma, today I would like to have a little discussion about the appreciation of the environment and the conservation of environment and how Buddha's teaching contribute for the environment protection. We know, of course, today we have great environmental disasters around the globe, such as global warming, rising of the sea levels, carbon dioxide emissions, so on and so forth. During the time of the Buddha, this kind of complexity was not there. But still, if we analyze the Buddha's life and his teachings, there are so much to offer to solve all these environmental calamities, problems, by following Buddhist principle. If you look at the Buddha's life, he was born under a tree in the Lumbini garden in Nepal, and he was attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, and also he gave his first sermon, first Dhamma deliverance at the Isipatana Migadaya deer park, and also he spent many rainy retreats in caves, under trees, one time with the elephant and a monkey in a Sinsapa forest, and also he passed away under the sala trees, between two sala trees in the Upavattana Sal garden in the Malla kingdom. So all these lives he lived with the nature, and he protected the nature, and also he passed many rules for the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis to protect the environment. So the stanza, Buddhist stanza just now I recited, gives some insights we can learn how Buddhas think. Buddha said, Ārāmaropa vanaropa, those who cultivate gardens, those who cultivate forests, those who cultivate trees and fruit trees, and also those who make bridges, any kinds of facilities to cross the rivers, and also those who provide drinking water and as well as consuming water, and those who build houses and resting places for the weary people who are traveling, and also those who are virtuous and follow the principles of Dharma, they will make merits day and night by planting trees, by making bridges, by making houses, by developing water supply schemes. They create enormous amount of wholesome, meritorious deeds. In another Jataka story, Buddha said, it is the duty of the Buddha's previous life, he said, it is the duty of the king to provide the protection for the birds, animals that is living in his kingdom. So Buddha never encouraged killing of any beings, killing of animals. So he always great compassionate teacher who taught his teachings to promote, protect the all sentient beings. Then Buddha said in one sutta, the Mangala Sutta, that we must live in an appropriate, proper place. Appropriate, proper place is where there is no crimes, you can live peacefully, happily, and also if your area of living is not good, it is your duty to convert your area, people together, so that you can inhabit that area. For example, in Japan, the people will sweep the road in front of their houses because they consider it as part of their garden. This is how the Buddhist thinking should work, because this Buddhism is not only centered around human beings, it is also centered around all sentient beings. Buddha said, Sabbe tasanti dandassa. Everybody trembles, everybody is scared of, everybody is fear of their death, they are fear of their punishments, they are fear of their torture. Because having seen that I don't like get tortured, I don't like get blamed, I don't like get killed, so similarly all the other beings also don't like. So take yourself as example. This is the best way to develop good attitude towards all sentient beings. Some theistic religions say some creatures are created for our food, but Buddha never said in such a thing. Buddha said all sentient beings has the right to live, right to freedom from torture, freedom from pain. So, and Karaniya Metta Sutta Buddha said, you must mana sambhave aparimana. You must spread the loving kindness, metta, the boundless compassion, boundless love to all sentient beings, asambhadam, without any discrimination, without any boundaries, without any kind of obstacles. All sentient beings are included in the kindness we are spreading, the love we are spreading towards all sentient beings. Buddha said that when we are cleaning the temple rugs or any other things, there is a rule for monks. They cannot shake those rugs or anything. That will blow away with the wind, carried away with the winds. So even monks cannot make fire, burning new grass or new growing crops. If he is sick, of course, he need heat because the environment is too cold. Then monks can make a fire. Otherwise, unnecessarily, monk cannot make fire that will hurt the environment, that will hurt the trees or plants. And Buddha also prays in his last journey to the final Nibbana, Ramaniyang Ananda Vesaliyang, Ramaniyang Udena Chetiyang, Ramaniyang Gotama Chetiyang, Ramaniyang Sattambaka Chetiyang, because he followed a large distance, following different cities, villages, on his way to final demise of the Lord Buddha. So he prays many beautiful places on the way. So from Buddha, the one time, Venerable Ananda was offered 500 robes by 500 queens belong to the King Udeni. These clothes were given to these queens to make some sari or something like that. But they listened to the teachings from the Ananda. They were so pleased, they were so happy. So they offered these 500 kasi, the good silk clothes, to the Venerable Ananda. Then the next day when king came to the queen's quarters, he saw that all the queens were in the same old clothes. They are not wearing new clothes given by the king. Then he asked, why you are wearing the old clothes? Why don't you wear the new clothes I have given to you yesterday? Then they said, we listened to the teachings of the Ananda Thera and we were very pleased about the Dharma. We are very happy about the teachings. And we offered these robes to the Ananda Thera. Then the king asked, did he accept all 500? How can a person use 500 clothes? Until he die, he cannot finish using the 500 clothes. Then next day, the king went to see the Ananda Thera, meet him and had a discussion. Then he asked, how are you going to use these 500 robes? Then he said, we will put in the storage room. Then we will give these robes to those who their robes are weak, or they are faded away, or they are torn away. Then we give these robes to them. Once this robe is used for a long time and it is no more you cannot use as a robe, then we cut these robes into two pieces and we use it as an underrobe. After repairing, after stitching, and we cannot use as an underrobe, then we will use it as our bed sheet. When we can't use bed sheet, we will make a pillow and we will use as a pillow. When we cannot make as a pillow, we will use as a mat near the bed. When we cannot use it as a mat near the bed, then we will use it as a mat near the door. When we cannot use this cloth as a mat near the door, we will use it as a cloth to hold pots in the kitchen. When they are hot, we use these old clothes to hold the pots when we are boiling hot water or something like that. So when we cannot even use it for holding the hot pots in the kitchen, we will mix it with the mud or the soil and we will plaster the walls of the kitchen or our buildings. So the kind of message we are getting from this story is the recycling and also using our resources to the maximum level. Normally, today's world, there are many people who throw away many usable, some useful items, gadgets, because they buy new model, they don't want to use the old model, they throw away. This way, we are destroying so much resources in the world. This way, we are destroying so many resources because we know that resources are limited. Resources are not unlimited. So we have to preserve them for our generation, and many future generations will coming into this world system. So we have to preserve the resources for ourselves as well as our future generation. Mahatma Gandhi once said that the world has enough resources to feed the people, feed the needs of the people, but world cannot provide with the greediness, enormous amount of limitless consummation. This is a consumerist society. We are going behind for more and more resources, collecting more and more wealth. So there is no enough for the using for our greediness. That is why Buddha's main teaching is to control our mind, especially the greed, hatred and delusion. So one part of our consumption based on greediness. So Buddha never encouraged for us to use greediness in our day-to-day life. Thirdly, in Anguttara Nikaya, there was one sutta called Kula Sutra. Then in this sutra, there are some principles Buddha has preached for the preservation of the things. The first principle is Nattang Gavesanti. Those who are decaying, those who are getting destroyed due to the time and due to the other reasons, it is our duty to protect and preserve those things. In a house, maybe there are certain parts of your wall or certain parts of your bathroom or certain parts of your garden are broken, we need to repair. And also, if we are like destroying a tree, then we must regrow another tree. For example, in Canada, if you want to build a house, the Canadian government has some specific rules by the municipal councils. They say, okay, you have to first mark out the trees which are going to preserve, they are not going to cut down. So first thing you have to do is to show them, okay, these trees will not vanish after your house is built. So then you have to replant somewhere the number of plants you are going to cut in order to build your house. So similarly, in Buddhist tradition, Buddha's teaching says that when you are destroying resources, you have to regain those things. Then those who have already get old or destroyed by the time, you have to repair them. Then the third very important policy is Parimita Pana Bojanami Honti. We must know the limits of our consume. When we are consume things, we must know how much we must consume. Today's, of course, the world is over-consuming things, and so many people having suffering problem. For example, food. They are taking too much food and no exercise, and the health levels of young people, middle-aged people, even young children, has deteriorated because of there is no limits for their intakes of foods or intakes of their sleeps and less exercise and all that. So then the very important policy Buddha taught us is to our leaders. If the leader of the house is father or mother, they must have some principles, silavanta, the virtues, they must develop virtues. If we keep a person who is virtuous, who have some values, who have some good understanding, then they can look after the family so very well. So Buddha's teaching for the monks about preservation of the water, preservation of the earth, preservation of the air, there are some rules imposed by the Buddha for the monks. For example, the monks cannot urinate or defecate on the growing grass or water. They cannot pollute them. And also they cannot take what is not given. And also the monks cannot destroy the seeds or any kinds of growing materials. The monks cannot destroy. There are, and regarding the monks traveling in the village, they cannot make too much noise. Too much noise they cannot make when they are walking in the streets of the village or inside the village or outside the village. They must control their speech. Especially Buddha said, when we are talking, we have to talk what is virtuous, what is good, what is in accordance with the Dharma, or if you don't have some such topics to talk, it is better to keep calm and quiet. So Buddha also never encouraged shouting and sound pollution. One time some of his students came to see him and they were talking so loudly, and it's like the fish market, and Buddha asked all these monks to leave the temple and do not stay in the temple because Buddha don't like disturbing too much noisy sound. So the Buddhist approach to the environment is to protect the environment for oneself and for the others. And also environment include not only human beings, all the other beings in the universe, all the trees, all the resources also included. Like mother loves the only child, we also must protect our environment like our child. That is the message Buddha has passed to for Buddhists and the others in the world, to protect the environment. If we don't protect our environment, and it will lead to destruction of the world. Buddha said one time, if somebody is under a tree, under the shadow of the tree, if he is breaking the branch of that tree, or if he is cutting down such trees, he is doing some bad thing, bad karma, because he has no any gratitude, any remembrance of his good deeds he is receiving. And the Buddha set the example by respecting the nature. When he attained the enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, he was alone, nobody was with him, nobody to witness his enlightenment. So he paid respect for 7 days, gazing at the Bodhi tree, and he taught the world 2 lessons. One is to remember and recollect and appreciate the help you get from the person or inanimate things. Secondly, to pay back or to respect back to that thing. This is the gratitude Buddha has taught. So therefore, friends, in Buddhism, the mental environment is also important, not only physical environment. If mental environment is clear and clean, then the physical environment will be more clean. Because people have more greed, more desire, more hoard, collect more and more resources, which he cannot consume during this lifetime. Some people have wealth. If they lay in a line, they can, the currency notes, they can lie their wealth into the moon. So such a huge amount of wealth they cannot consume within a whole life. So Buddha says the purpose of earning money is twofold. One is to make you happy yourself, and the second is to donate for the benefit of others. These 2 only you can do. You can count in the evening after day's collection, I have so much profit, I have so much money. But if you are really using money, you can do only 2 things. One is to spend for your own benefit, other is to spend it for the benefit of the other. So therefore, friends, in Dhamma, we learn that Buddha was the greatest nature lover, Buddha was the greatest appreciator of the nature, and he lived with the nature and he passed away with the nature. So dear friends, let us protect our environment, let us grow more trees so that in our future generations can breathe and live happily on this planet. May the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha guide you, bless you and protect you. Namo Buddhaya.
The Buddhist sermon for today was given by the Venerable Beragama Piyarathana Thera.